Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Voting has just closed for southern Tasmanians. Residents in the divisions of Elwick, Prosser and Hobart today turning out to elect their representative in Tasmania's new Legislative Council. While the results are still being counted, Labor's John Kamara and Greens' Cassie O'Connor both made a strong case in Hobart. Mayors Kerry Vincent and Beck Thomas also popular choices for Prosser and Elwick respectively. Legislative Council elections are held on the first Saturday of May every year. Esteemed Australian economist Saul Eslake has been appointed as an independent reviewer set to look into the state's finances over the next 6 months. The Jackie Lambie Network says the agreement is a major factor in being able to provide confidence and supply to the Liberal Party, as promised during the election. It's now set to be finalised by August, with the terms and references for the review agreed on by both parties. Parliament lawns once again hosted a sea of passionate protesters, this time wanting laws to ban new coal and gas projects. Activists are calling for federal government leaders to listen and act in interest of saving the climate.
Demanding urgent action, these calls were heard far and wide.
What do we want? Climate action! When do we want it?
Now! Hundreds of environment protesters descending Parliament House's steps, calling for the federal government to introduce tougher nature laws, part of an effort to ban coal and gas.
We really need to see these laws strengthened so that we're not seeing continuously opening of new coal and gas projects in a climate crisis.
These youth climate groups calling to be included in real conversations with Tasmanian leaders.
So we've seen a couple of local councillors here, haven't seen any of our state and federal politicians.
Today's event forming part of 12 days of action, but there are no signs of stopping after that.
Food supply in danger, we must all rebel.
The era of caving in to the demands of vested interests like the fossil fuel industry and the logging industry are ending.
Protesters here have joined similar ones happening across the nation, with over 50, including one happening at the Prime Minister's Sydney residence, Kirribilli House.
If we don't act now, we won't be able to stop this fast-moving train crash that is the climate crisis.
The Environment Minister was contacted for comment.
We will fight to turn the tide.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
Agfest organisers say they're happy with a strong turnout despite the tough economic climate confronting many farmers across the state. More than 50,000 people filed through the gates over the past 3 days.
From the air, Agfest looked bigger than Texas. Farmers, their families and those who just wanted to enjoy a day out were in attendance for the 40th event. Trevor Shipton has been at every one.
I went to my first Agfest in 1983 at Symonds Plains in the mud, and it was probably, I suppose, a foot deep at times, but we paddled around. We learnt a lot.
There was plenty of interest in the machinery on show, from the big trucks to the large excavators.
There's a good range of stuff you can look at and demonstrate and things, yeah.
Just inquiries at this stage and stuff like that, just sort of for further information.
While farmers might have been keeping their hands in their pockets, farm machinery retailers were happy with the interest.
Yeah, there's certainly buyers out there. Some have been a bit more cautious in the climate we're in, but certainly good inquiry.
It was also an opportunity for farmers to reconnect with one another and feel less socially isolated. Those living and working on the land often doing it in solitude.
You can also do your shopping, but you can also catch up with friends that you might not have seen for a whole 12 months and get off the farm and get reconnected again.
Brothers Robin and Tony Spillane have been farming for 78 years and wouldn't miss Agfest for quids.
It's very important because everyone gets in contact with one another, see how our businesses are going, and the business at the moment is up and down, more so down than up.
Melinda Ogden, 7 Tasmania News.
A piece of Tassie football history has been safely delivered back home. The family of late Sandy Bay Premiership player and Tasmanian wingman Kevin Pelham were presented with his jersey this morning. He and Daryl Hicks from South Australia swapped jumpers over 55 years ago after the National Carnival.
The condition of it is totally pristine and not even an odour or a smell. It's obviously been stored very beautifully.
The Tasmania Football Club says since March it's seen an uptake in people reaching out, keen to share their memorabilia. Dozens of Navy crew members have arrived in the Huon Valley for a time-honoured tradition dating back to medieval times. Residents welcoming the soldiers in a Freedom of Entry parade.
Swords drawn and drums beating, the crew from HMAS Huon march with pride and honour, requesting permission to enter the Huon Valley.
Your right and privilege to do so is acknowledged, HMAS Huon. On behalf of the Mayor and citizens of the Huon Valley, I bid you welcome and permit you to pass.
Locals lining the street to witness the Freedom of Entry, a centuries-old military tradition dating back to medieval times, marking a sign of trust and respect. A deep historical significance embedded within our armed forces.
There's a lot of traditions that the Navy uphold which are really important. We feel a lot of honour, which goes back a long way.
Also, a cherished ritual highlighting the strong bond between the town and its namesake vessel.
We have a great sense of pride here in the Huon and celebrating not only things that are named after our town's keepsake, but also the people that dedicate their lives.
The event holding extra importance today, the Minehunter coastal vessel being farewelled later this month after more than 2 decades of service.
After 25 years of service, HMAS Huon will be decommissioning.
Today's parade also a chance for officers to reunite with family and old friends.
It's been a long time that he's been sort of in and out and away from his family, so it's nice to have him home for a little while.
Extremely proud to see someone, handsome young man, and how far he's come in his career. It's wonderful.
Rebecca Gayden-Neris, 7 Tasmania News.
It was a top-of-the-table clash in the TSL with North Launceston squaring off against Kingborough at the Twin Ovals. With the scores kept close throughout the game, it was the Bombers who ran away as victors.
To the forward 50, landed into the path of man Shandon, and they're out by 6 goals, the Bombers.
It was an unfortunate match for Glenorchy at Blunston Arena, on the back foot from the start against a relentless Clarence. The Roos 104-point winners.
Kick is on its way, gun barrel straight, and another goal to the Roos.
While Launceston won against North Hobart at Windsor Park. The Hobart Chargers men's are back in the win column after defeating Frankston at home by 8 points in the NBL 1 South. That's despite the Blues opening with a lead and momentum swinging back and forth throughout the game. Terrell Brown, the standout, scoring 29 points with 3 rebounds and 2 steals. And in the women's game, the Chargers suffered a 16-point loss to Frankston.
Good evening. Today, Hobart 15, 18 the state's top 4 Launceston, Flinders Island and Smithton, Devonport and Burnie sharing a top of 17 degrees today. Light showers lingered along the east coast for most of the day, whilst the rest of the state remained relatively fine. King Island, Wynyard and Low Head all 17, Strawn and Ouse 16, Grove 15, St Helens, Friendly Beaches and Maria Island 14. Lyweenie 11 after an overnight low of -2 degrees. Low cloud covered most of the south and east of Tasmania today, with areas of scattered cloud about the remainder of the state. Low-level cloud was seen about coastal parts of the east coast of Australia. A spiralling band of cloud covers much of New South Wales, containing embedded thunderstorms dispersing high cloud across Victoria. Tomorrow, a large high-pressure system will shift to the west of Tasmania, continuing to ridge across the southeast of the country. South to southwesterly winds 10 to 20 knots about the south, tending south to southeasterly elsewhere. Mild southwesterly spells likely during the morning. Partly cloudy conditions expected in the south tomorrow. Hobart 16, Richmond 17. 17 also in Ooze. They're expecting a chance of a morning frost. The sunshine continues in the north. Launceston 19, 18 for Devonport. A frosty start for Deloraine, 17's the top there. Sunny also in Burnie 18. Partly cloudy in Strawn 15. 17 the maximum for Curry on King Island. 17 and fine in St Helens tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies in Swansea 16. A fine and sunny 18 in store for Whitemark. Monday, a cloudy day across the state with possible light showers about the northwest and the south coast. Patches of morning frost and areas of inland fog can be expected until mid next week. Tuesday, light showers developing about the west and north, including the Bass Strait Islands. Wednesday, light showers about the north and east extending to the west in the afternoon. A soggy day for Sydney tomorrow, 20 degrees. Showers in Brisbane, 25. Sunny in Adelaide, 23. Cloudy skies are likely to clear in Melbourne, 19's the maximum. A little cool but clear in Hobart right now, 10 degrees. Partly cloudy in Launceston with 12, also clear in Devonport with 11. Now it looked like perfect conditions at Agfest this weekend with clear skies not making any hindrance, a bumper crowd taking advantage of the weather. Now that Agfest wraps up for another year, we can prepare for the winter ahead. Lou.
I'm not sure I'm ready for that yet, Kai, but thank you for the reminder. And that's all your news for this Saturday evening. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you tomorrow. Good night.